Okay guys, fixing another of the engineer slash contractor screw ups. This is chunks of cement, leveling it up here. We'll probably just leave it. They didn't get the message, didn't want it filled all the way to the top, but this is where Jejie wants to put, I guess you'd call them dog kennels, but they're not going to be kennels because they're not going to be locked up. It's just going to be beds for them, basically, with some sort of a see-through fencing material like chain link going across the top there, so they can see the bad guys coming. They'll be happier. We give them a place to sleep and out of the rain because it'll be sheltered. But here we are. This is the next project. This is just one day's worth of work. The cement is not very thick. I mean, it's about 3, maybe as much as 4 inches thick in spots. But for the most part, no, it's 1 inch to 2 inches thick. And that's it. After the engineer slash contractor assured us that it was all 5 inches thick. How much you want to bet under the house isn't 5 inches either? I wonder what he used to measure that with. Anyway, yeah. So this is the first day. They've got all this torn up. They have to dig it down. It's about 1 meter. They're gonna have to dig out. Maybe a little less. And it's going to be all the way down to that level with the carport. And that's our new wheelbarrow. Went and got it today. Jejie rode in a tricycle while I followed. And she wanted to get the assembled one. I said, no, it won't fit. And it wouldn't have fit. But with it in its components, it was able to fit in the tricycle. So, got that so they can haul stuff. Right now they're putting it up top, so using the bucket system. And we got another tarp so they can have some shade. But this is going to be torn up all the way down to about where it's at here. And all the way across, and it's going to be made where you can drive it. In fact, you can see the line there that he grooved into it there. That's how far down they're going to actually dig it up. It's a little further than what I thought. To get this all where you can actually get into it without spinning your tires if you're a 2-wheel drive car or delivery truck. Yeah. That was weird. The 2 stray dogs, or not stray dogs, not our dogs, were arguing with each other just there. Anyway, so that's where we're at, folks. Another fix the engineer slash contractor screw ups. Another episode in the saga of the entire screwed up. Again, highly recommend not using the gun. It's been, at first it seemed like it was great. Nope. And then he abandoned the project. The end didn't finish. We'll cover all that and other details later in other videos. But for right now, this is what we're doing. You can see he's got to get down to, get the camera down to about eyeball level with the carport. It's about right there. Hey, oh, this just bruised his tail. So from this level, it's got to be cut down to there, and then all this brought up to a nice gentle slope. All right, that's it. Calling it quits. Got to lock everything up. Get the dogs in. I'll walk over here if I can do it without killing myself. Show you the wheelbarrow. there we go. Nice, shiny new wheelbarrow. There. Wheelbarrow. And just for fun, where are we at on the charge? We got up to 100%, I know. Where are we at now? We're at 97. Haven't had to unplug that since we got the repeater. Not repeater, the Wi-Fi router solar charge. Here's the other line. They're cutting all the way down the line here. Gonna fix this huge dip. Not sure exactly how he's going to do it. Don't care to know. I trust him. Whole hell of a lot more than the engineer / contractor. Don't use them, guys. If you are using them right now, I feel sorry for you, because I feel sorry for us. All right. Next time, stop recording. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and hit.
Click the notification.
See? She remembers.
Click.
Bye.